Robert Lighthizer has been asked this on the fly. In fact, he was asked it without even reading that and immediately said that is absolutely untrue. And I would note no president has been tougher on China than President Trump. The trade deal, the billions in tariffs, this president has been tough on China from the very beginning.
If there were so many false claims in this book, why did it take 6 months for the White House to review this and still not even be done?
It was going through a classified review process. It still is going through that process. We take classified information seriously. It puts people at risk. It puts sources at risk, and it's a process that we meticulously look through. And it was undergoing a review process that's still ongoing.
In April, one of the officials who was reviewing it said she had no more suggestions. It took another month for his attorneys to hear that there could have been additional people reviewing the book.
Again, it's still undergoing the review process. We take classified information seriously. John Bolton apparently does not, and this was absolutely appalling that he chose to do this. He, more than anyone, being a part of the NSC, should know that classified information is very serious, being someone who's been a part of 2 different governments, in fact, and should be very well versed in classified information.
What specifically in here is classified that's damaging? Now, everybody has it now. So what's damaging in here that's a problem?
Again, I'm not going to get into details on this. It's going through the review process. It shouldn't be out. Being in the National Security Committee, John Bolton should, in fact, understand that. He is a misguided hawk on foreign policy and a weak dove of an author, and this is despicable that he chose to publish this book without fully going through the review process.
Seems like an
Yeah, so qualified immunity, let me note, is a total and complete non-starter. What qualified immunity would do is it would really enable the police in this country to do their job. That's in the Democrat bill, and I'd argue this, Democrats, they say defund the police, defund the police. We hear that from Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez and Congresswoman Omar and others. Well, what does the Democrat bill do? By removing qualified immunity, what you're essentially doing is not allowing police to do their job. There would be a decrease in policing in this country. Our streets would not be safe. What President Trump has done is worked with law enforcement to improve law enforcement, to ensure that the bad cops that exist are pushed out of the system. The overwhelming majority of cops are good, so we've got to address the handful that are bad, and that's what the president's order has done. But taking away qualified immunity would make the streets of this country a whole lot less secure. Just look at what happened when we didn't have ample law enforcement out on Lafayette Square. A church burned and multiple officers injured.
So how do you handle a situation, Kaylee, of a bad police officer hiding behind the shield of qualified immunity?
Look, I would note that also the court has litigated this pretty strongly. It's been adjudicated. The Harlow court, in that decision, Harlow, the Supreme Court, talked about achieving a balance between allowing victims to hold officials accountable while also minimizing the social cost to the whole, the cost of police officers, for example, pulling back. So the Supreme Court has litigated this for decades and has approached what they think is the appropriate balance with qualified immunity. And I think it would go a long way just doing what the president did yesterday, having that national database of offenders, so we ensure that a police officer doesn't leave one department and then go to another. Francesca.